Hey everybody, Neil Thompson from Teach the Geek here. I work with technical professionals so they can present more effectively, especially in front of non-technical audiences. And you can learn more about that at teachthegeek.com. Again, that's teachthegeek.com. And as always, remember to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Every little bit helps. Today, I want to talk about empathy. And what does empathy have to do with technical presentations? Well, it actually has quite a bit to do with it. Can you picture a situation where you've been in the audience and there was a presenter giving a presentation and you had no clue what was going on? They're using a whole bunch of words, you didn't understand, a whole bunch of concepts you didn't understand. And at the end of the presentation, you weren't any more clear on what they were talking about than you would have been beforehand. I mean, God knows how many times I've been in that situation. And I think one of the big issues with a lot of technical people when they give presentations is not having empathy for the people who are in the audience. And that could very well be a problem. You weren't always an expert in what you're an expert in currently. So you could picture yourself years ago when being in an audience, not being the expert and listening to someone like yourself. And if they were to speak like you, using all the technical jargon, not describing concepts and assuming people just knew what they meant, you might get frustrated. Well, perhaps we should all start following the advice of have empathy for the people who are in the audience. It certainly would make these types of presentations a lot more palatable, a lot more understandable, especially to non-technical audiences. So what do you do if you have a mix of people in the audience? You have a lot of people with a lot of technical expertise and some with not much at all. What should you do? Well, I'd say you should skew the way of the audience. So for instance, if there's 80% mostly technical type people, well, skew that way. If it's mostly novices, let's say 80% mostly novices, well, skew that way. Certainly, there are going to be some people are going to be upset, or maybe not upset, frustrated with the level. I mean, if it's 80% novices, the 20% who aren't novices might get a bit annoyed, but hey, at least you can't please everybody. If the goal is to please everyone, you're gonna come up short every time. One other point I would like to make about giving presentations in front of, especially if it's a technical presentation, is make sure that the decision makers understand the presentation, no matter what the skew of the audience is, technical to non-technical. So if the decision makers understand, then you're good. Everybody else can kick rocks. No, I don't mean that. I don't mean that, or do I? But it is important for the decision makers to understand your presentation because, well, they're going to be making decisions based on this presentation. So they definitely need to understand. So when it comes to giving technical presentations in front of audiences, I highly suggest that you just have some empathy towards the people who are there. And just remember, you weren't always an expert. And how would you want the presentation to be presented to you back when you weren't the expert? Probably not without, you probably wouldn't want all the technical jargon. You probably would want some description of technical concepts that you didn't know. You'd want to make it easier for you to understand the actual presentation. And then another point is, if depending on what the demographics of the audience is, that's how you will skew your presentation. If it's mostly technical people, well then yeah, maybe you can have some of that technical jargon. If it's mostly non-technical people, you probably want to leave that out. And then you always want to make sure that the decision makers understand your presentation fully, regardless of what the composition of the audience is. Hopefully this helps. Again, my name is Neil Thompson. I'm the founder of Teach the Geek. I work with technical professionals so they can present more effectively, especially in front of non-technical audiences. And you can learn more about that at teachthegeek.com. Again, that's teachthegeek.com. And as always, remember to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, as every bit helps. Thanks. Have a great day.